Morning, everybody, and happy Memorial Day to everybody. And thank you so much for tuning in on Eric's Autism World channel. It has, but anyway, um, the reason why I wanted to come aboard what's been happening, there has been safety. I'm sorry. What I was trying to say is that when you go out in the community or grocery store or anything like that, there's always safety issues and there's always a risk that something may happen. Well, we'll talk about that potential and something that you should know on a certain subject. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Okay, they're helpful tips. So, kind of, tell me in the live chat and give me your answer if you know what a person should do. Um, safety wise. So we'll get down to that in just a moment. So let's go ahead and talk about the exciting thing that happened today. Okay. Today has actually been a very exciting morning so far. Breakfast and everything was all good, but there was something that wasn't really on the schedule today that that I had to add to the schedule, and it actually was a parade. Um, I normally don't prefer going to places in public, especially if it was a parade, but I thought I would go ahead and take that chance. Um, and taking my sister today out for a parade. And the only thing that kind of bothers me and concerns me is all of the crowds and all of the noises and stuff like that and the distraction. Well, there were actually some things that I was concerned about, which were we were walking together, making sure that we stayed together, as a group and everything, and it all worked out fine. The only thing that concerned me was that do you let somebody with autism, do you allow them to walk by themselves and try and wander off, especially if you're going to a parade or let's say the mall or whatever? What kind of response do you get out of that? And what do I do when it comes to that response? No, I most definitely do not leave my sister by herself. The only reason why I'm just saying that, and it is true, I always have my sister with me at all times. Now, why is it that you should not leave somebody alone that has autism? The reason why is because there's safety issues, there are risks that could happen, and not just that, they can also get lost out in the community. There are multiple things that could happen. They can get lost. They may not know where their mom, dad, or relative is, or they may be nonverbal and unable to communicate and identify who they're with. My sister is not able to identify or communicate where it would go. Oh, I'm at a parade. I'm out, up in town or whatever. I'm lost. I can't find, my brother, my relative or whatever, my mom, grandpa, or just to name a few. So if you've got somebody that can't communicate, like telling somebody that they're lost in the community and they say what their name is, but do they know who their party is? That those are just some of the things that you kind of have to think about. And I do worry, especially if we're going to be at an event such as the parade or going to the fair, that type of thing. Now, with all the people that are at a parade or big events such as that, it does get kind of troubling and it does get confusing with all of the commotion, all of the distractions, people walking back and forth. and all the noise and screaming and stuff like that, you always begin to wonder as a parent, um, is something going to happen? What should I be doing? Well, uh, when you go to an event like that, to something big such as a birthday party, a parade, just to name a few, what do? You stay with your child, your teenager, anyone that has a disability, not just autism, but someone that is not able to communicate, that type of thing. So if you have a special needs adult that has autism, that kind of thing, that's not able to communicate, that wanders off, you want to be the responsible party. And that's why when I went to the parade today, didn't really have no issues, but the only thing that was tricky about it was we get over there, find our spot, and then we wait patiently. And, you do have, it does get kind of jumpy, which that it was. The only We went to the parade, and my sister knew that it was going to happen, which that it did. It was a very short parade. I'm very thankful for that, and I am blessed for that, because other parades that I've gone to in the past have been almost like 3 hours long. So you start to think, can they handle going to a long event, especially if it's a longer parade? Can they handle being out in the crowd for that amount of time? Well, if it's a very short parade, it's not very long. It's not very long. So if you stay together with your party, everything's all good. What are the important things that you should have at all times in case you do have a child or whatever that is able to communicate? Just to name a few, what should they bring with them? If they're able to communicate and stuff, maybe get them a prepaid cell phone if they're able to. Just a minute, please. Just a minute. That was my sister in the background. She doesn't understand what I'm talking about. But what I was trying to say is that if you do have someone that special needs, that's able to communicate, that's more. Just a second. Just a moment. I know. Just relax. I know. Right now things are kind of jumpy right now because it's almost that time. It's like 11:32. So I'm trying to get this done as quickly as I can because I've got an impatient one that needs to eat. So that kind of tells you the routine schedule. Okay, I basically keep the schedule the same, but when there's something exciting going on, that actually throws off the schedule and the routine. So it does confuse that individual, like, okay, this is what we do every day. We do the same thing every day, but we're doing something different that's exciting. Oh, we go to this event. Can we handle it? Depends. And the good thing about it was, in case they couldn't handle the noise, I actually had headphones that would block out the sound, and I'll show you exactly what they are. So if you don't have them, it's probably a good idea to get some. Let me go and show you what I'm talking about. Hold on. Let me find them. Okay, I'm back. What kind of things do we use to block out sound if you're going to be in a loud environment, such as a parade and there's a bunch of people talking and all that kind of stuff, and there's a lot going on all at the same time? What do you take with you? You just take a pair of these headphones with you, which that I did today, and didn't really have any problems. Didn't really have to use them at all. Thought if it got to be too much for my sister, I would have had her wear these. And it's just a precaution because if they've got a lot of sensory issues and they know that that's not in their safe zone, that can cause different behavioral issues, which did happen, but it wasn't as bad. I was able to redirect and prompt her in a very calmly way. So if you're very, very patient with them, it goes a long way. You always, 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 and it is a very important must. You always have to have patience with people that are special needs, people that have autism, that type of thing, especially with autism. I'm a person that also has the same problem. I have autism as well. But even so, you have to have a lot of patience with them. It's not like you can go ahead and tell them this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do today, and rush and say, this is what we're going to do, and hurry up and say, oh, we're going to go to the parade or we're going to a birthday party. But let's say they can't handle it. So we got up there and everything was cool. Didn't have no problem. But I was going to watch it from where the park was at. But unfortunately, just to see the actual event, we had to go on the other side so we can see the whole entire parade. Now, if we were over by the park, we would have been like in the farther distance, but I really want to be at the park, but it's okay. Someone had reserved a spot for us, which was really nice, and I thank them for it very much. I'm hoping to do the parade next year, but it depends. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. We did this as a trial thing. So far, it worked. I did have some issues, but I was able to redirect and do some verbal prompts, but only had to do like 1 or 2 prompts to give in a few. So if you have someone that's not able to communicate, someone that's not able, that can't communicate, like I say, communication is one. Number 2, if they're not aware of traffic, that type of thing, that's actually the danger zone right there. So I most definitely do not let people that don't know that traffic is coming, that don't know when to go over to the side of the road or whatever, or not aware of traffic at all and doesn't know when to stop, and you have to prompt them the whole time, then that's a worry right there. So I closely monitored what was going on, and I stayed very close to that individual, and that's the way you need to do it. Never, ever leave your individual that has autism. You never want to leave them by themselves, especially if they are not able to tell the person, I'm lost, what do I do, that type of thing. You want to have another person speak for them if they're not able to tell you, where they live, that type of thing. So there's a whole bunch of things that could erupt. But like I say, play it safe. So I just want to tell you about those updates and what our community outing is. Thank you so much for joining us. And the next scheduled live stream will be at 2 o'clock. I may have to push that time up a little bit or further down because there's actually going to be a picnic type of thing that I'm going to be attending. So I may not be able to do it at 2, so I'm going to have to push the time down to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm going to try and do it right at 2 o'clock. So that's out of the way. So we'll see you again at 2 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad that I was able to do this live blog. So I'm looking forward to doing another one with you as well. Come back and join me then. And please leave your comments below. And I'll see you guys again at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for joining me on Eric's Autism World channel. We'll see you in the next 2 hours from now. We'll see you then. See you at 2. Bye. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. We'll see you then. Bye now.